Today we're talking about the law and your legacy. I'm attorney Pete Hamilton,
I'm attorney Ryan Hamilton.
and our discussion for today is trying to close the racial wealth gap through having generational planning. There's so many barriers that have come up over the years that have made it very difficult for the African American family to compete and make up for the years of systemic racism. Um, but it can be done. We just need to have all the proper tools in place. And there's so many examples that we can talk about of businesses and even farmland and different things that the heirs did not do the proper planning, and that property is lost. You brought up names of maybe folks.
Some movie stars or entertainers specifically. Well, we're not going to name anybody specifically, but we know some who did not have any type of estate plan, and then their assets, their property, their businesses, their homes are caught up in litigation between family members. In some cases, not even family members. There are arguments about people, that aren't even family that are trying to get to the money. Whereas there's other people that we may have heard about in the news that have done a trust and set it up, and all of their children are getting, multiple millions of dollars apiece from their planning, and their assets are not caught up in any type of litigation or probate or anything like that.
Yeah, and I think that's why it's important because when we talk about things like life insurance, your business succession, your business plan, who's going to take over the business? And then also we need to have a better understanding of just overall financial literacy. And you gave those examples of the entertainers or even people that are just popular, some who've done the right thing and at least put their family in the right direction, and others who have not. I've heard so many stories over the years about, and I brought up the thing about the farmland, and I don't have the statistic on it, but for many years, the African American community were large landholders of farmland. But as years went on, the heirs did not do successions, did not pay the taxes, and before you know it, their 200 or 300 acres was dwindled down, and someone else took over, and now they've lost that land. Where if they had had a plan, for the first 5 heirs, if they had 200 acres, they could have had a re-subdivision plan, and each of the families take so many acres at a time. Right. They didn't do that. And I think that's what you're talking about, that these popular people, these entertainers who understood this, were able to distribute their assets equally or distribute them the way they wanted them to go.
And I can take it to, I guess, maybe, if we're talking about movie stars and entertainers, they have a, lot more money than average people. And so that may seem unattainable to do something like that. But if we're talking about life insurance, right? Something simple that everybody can do is just making sure that your beneficiaries are updated on your life insurance policy. Because we see that you may have an insurance policy, but you got your ex-wife who you divorced 30 years ago, who's now deceased, as the beneficiary on the policy. So simple things that don't cost you any money is updating your beneficiaries on your life insurance policies, your bank accounts, and then also too, the trust sometimes you feel like is for maybe someone with more assets, but a lot of people can afford to maybe have a life insurance policy that leaves $1 million. And then that would be a good way to send that money to a trust to dictate how their children would spend $1 million, right? And even if it's not $1 million, maybe it's $100,000. That's more attainable for the everyday average person to have a life insurance policy with that amount of money that you would want, or you would think maybe you would want to put some restrictions on a young kid or a grandchild, just not giving them $100,000.
And you did leave out there, I mean, today 401ks are popular, so you need to identify
401ks,
beneficiaries on the 401k accounts,
IRAs.
IRAs,
Mm-hmm.
of course, your bank accounts, to always have someone, and this is a problem we see where individuals, especially a lot of elderly individuals, have a bank account and they have only their name on it.
Right.
And now some banks, not all banks, but some banks have POD,
Correct.
pay on debt policy in place, but you need to check with your bank to decide whether that's something that that works.
And I think that's a really important topic, because this type of planning doesn't cost anything.
Right.
It doesn't cost you anything to make sure you have named beneficiaries on the things that you can name a beneficiary.
Right.
And that way your family doesn't have to do, maybe you don't have a house. Maybe you just have a couple bank accounts. And if you can just name your family members who you want to get that money, then they don't have to pay for a succession to get that money if the bank does that POD, TOD, whatever acronym they want to use to acknowledge it. So that's something that's important. So I just think paying attention to who is the named beneficiary on all your accounts, whatever type of account you have, or insurance policy, or retirement account, whatever it may be.
I think an important thing in retaining wealth is someone has to pay those taxes too.
Yeah.
When a family owns a piece of real estate and the parents die, we see so many examples where the siblings, the children have moved around the country and the taxes are constantly being built up. We see that a lot in the properties in the Lower Ninth Ward where the houses were devastated. The lot is a decent lot, but no one has paid the taxes on it for 10 or 15 years. And now those properties are being sold through the city sales tax, so the tax sale properties, and you can't get them back. Now, you do have, that's a whole nother subject altogether, but you do have a period to redeem them. But if you haven't paid taxes on your property in the last 10 or 15 years, your siblings, no one has even been there to take care of the property. That's just lost wealth to that family, because even early on, they could have just sold that property, made that money. And then a lot of this, too, is emotional stuff. You know, how many people come in the office and we see them and it's all about, well,
Mama's house.
Mama's house.
Right.
And
Or
nobody
Mama told me.
Or Mama told me.
Mama.
Nobody. I'm the only one that took care of Mama.
Right.
All of that presents a conflict. So what we want to tell, and this message is really to the parents out there. We want to tell the parents that you need to do something. Right. You need to get with your children. You need to say what you want, how you want it to go, and don't be afraid to bring up the subject.
Right.
And I think that's a problem we have, that nobody wants to, because nobody wants to talk about dying.
Right. Yeah, it's a difficult subject.
I'm all right with it. I've been here a long time. I'm happy with dying.
But I always say this: you're planning. You don't go buy life insurance because you think you're going to die that day. That's the same way it should be with estate planning. You don't talk about what's going to happen when you pass away because you think you're going to die tomorrow.
Right.
We all know it's going to happen at some time. So you need to have something in place for when that does happen. And also, we can talk about the practicality of leaving one house to 10 different people. Is it practical to do that, right? And maybe that's a consideration. Now, you could put it in a trust and, have a trustee in control of it and keep it in the family that way, but willing a house to 10 separate people, are they going to get along and actually be able to function and sell that house?
And that makes it very difficult for who's going to take care, because all 10 of the people are not going to take care.
They're not going to take care of it.
But we do know that old saying, Father Time is undefeated.
Yeah, Father Time is undefeated.
In the game of life. So
that is correct. So plan.
So plan.
He who fails to plan.
He who fails to plan plans to fail.
There you go.
That's it. Remember, this is not legal advice. This is just a tip brought to you by Liberty Bank and Trust. For more information, go to libertybank.net or you can contact us at 504 915 5016.